everybody, welcome in. It is Living the Life Method, the podcast right here on the Empowering Futures Podcast Network. Matt Dery with you, your host here on the Empowering Futures Podcast Network. I run communications, marketing, and business development for financial architects and the Q5 Experience. And on this podcast, we talk to some prominent centers of influence in our area and sometimes out of our area as it pertains to the life method. We've dipped into the world of business, sports, finance. And today we're going to dip into the world of music with our guest today, national recording artist and country singer down in Nashville, and a guy that is very, very talented and has an amazing story. Our guest today is Teddy Robb. That's R-O-B-B at teddyrobb.com. And he joins us today here on Living the Life Method. Teddy, thanks so much.
Hey, what's going on? Thanks for having me.
I'm doing all right. How are things down in Nashville here as we get to springtime?
Oh man, the weather's starting to break down here, which probably not quite where you're at, but it's starting to get nice down here. Man, I just got done with a writing session that was one of those writes that keeps you writing. It just was a really, really great day. Just wrote a song and just kind of figuring out my way as a songwriter and artist in Nashville right now. It's good.
This is not an easy business that you're in, but this is not the path that you thought growing up in Ohio. So you're a Midwest guy that you'd be going down. How did, was there a point in your childhood that you said, I like this kind of music? Were you wanting to be an athlete? I know you played some football. Give us a little background on kind of the path that led you to where you are right now.
So music never came into the picture until I was a junior in college. So all through middle school, high school, I just was going to school, trying to get good grades, and was playing sports. I loved playing football, track, basketball, did BMX bike racing as a kid. It was always sports. And then about my junior in college, I just kind of was to a point where I think I'd had enough of playing football, and I had a little bit of a void, I think, in my life at that time, and would have never dreamed that I would end up doing music for a living. But I had an old guitar that I wanted to learn how to play and just kind of have that feeling. And I went and played an open mic, and man, it was like, I was not good, first off. I was really bad at the time. I'd never really sang in public or anything, but I went and I got that same feeling that I got when I was playing football, and just like that bit of a rush of being in front of an audience and doing that. And I was hooked ever since then. I never stopped.
And you were recruited. So, you played college football.
I played some college football. I had a great high school career, but I wasn't a great college football player. I just kind of lost my drive in college for it.
But that was sort of the path that kind of got you on a team. It kind of gave you purpose, right, as you were going through your childhood. But how do you go? There are a lot of athletes that are obviously now musicians, and we've seen this. But I don't know. Was there a moment where you, like you said, you just want to pick up the guitar, but was something that you remember that kind of triggered this, that you said, I can't do this anymore?
Oh yeah. I can remember it like it was yesterday. I was driving home from practice, and this song came on by George Strait. It was called Troubadour. So, kind of, I don't know. It's just one of my favorite George Strait songs, and it came on. It was the first time I'd ever heard that. And I'd listened to some country music. I was getting more and more into it, but I heard that, and some of those lines just hit me so hard. I pulled over the side of the road, and I remember thinking, like, really clearly, like, I'm not on the right path for where my life is supposed to go. But whatever this feeling is that I just got from hearing a song for 3.5 minutes, I was like, whatever I got to do to figure out how to make somebody else feel that way, that this song did to me. And so it just became a pursuit after that. I didn't know what I was doing. I wasn't much of a singer, but I just knew that there was something that I could start putting my time and energy into that I loved. And that was pretty much how it started. So thanks, George. I still listen to his music, still love everything he does. But that was a moment where I knew I had to go figure out how to replicate what he was doing, which I don't think I'll ever quite figured that out, but I've learned to write a few songs.
Teddy Robb is our guest, recording artist, country singer down in Nashville. Well, what position, by the way, did you play at Akron?
I was a wide receiver.
All right. You don't look
Yeah.
like a lineman.
Dude, I used to be fast, but I've had a torn ACL since, and put some size on as I've gotten older. Just even if it's just like some of it muscle, some of it just living.
Was there best player you ever played against? We got to get all these sports questions out of the way, but was there somebody you were on the field with that you tell people, hey, I played against this guy or I played with this guy? Like anybody famous?
I played against Beanie Wells in high school.
Yeah.
Beanie, he went on to play a few years in the NFL, played running back, big dude.
Yeah.
Played against him. Trying to think who else. I played against a few guys who made it to the league for a while. No one who ever became like a star in the league, but I played against some guys who made it.
How do you then transition to where you say, all right, I want to pick up the guitar, I want to work on the vocals? Who do you turn to? There's no book for this. What was the process to get you to Nashville?
Before I left for Nashville, I tried to at least get a decent understanding. So I was in school going for business, and I started off just taking some courses. Private lessons can be expensive. So I was like, well, if I'm going to pay for lessons, I'm going to try and get credit for it. So I started taking piano, took a little bit of guitar, took some voice lessons, and just started getting interested in getting a base knowledge of like actually making music and what that looks like. And, I don't think I was ever going to be ready to just go to Nashville. It's just kind of like, it's been a process from the day I moved here. I got here and I started playing gigs on Broadway, and that was a whole step of like, for years I just honed my craft. For 5 years I honed and played 300 gigs a year, just every night out playing. And then from there, one night somebody walked in who just happened to see something in me that led me to another connection, which eventually led me to getting a record deal. And once I got the record deal, those connections led me to publishing, and I signed a writing deal. And then you start writing, you get into this machine that is Nashville and making music. And then eventually wrote something good enough that, I recorded and put out, and my music just started getting heard pretty quick. The first song I ever put out, it went, to 50, 60 million streams. And same thing with the second one. So between my first two songs that I put out, I got 100 million streams.
How many years into this were you when this started happening? Was this right away, or it take some time? Or
2018 was when I signed my record deal. So I was moved to Nashville in 2013. So I was 5 years from moving when it first started happening. And then I worked on stuff at home for a couple of years. And so 2013, I thought, things were moving really relatively fast. And, it seems like I blinked my eye. We went through a pandemic, and now I'm like 10 years into being in this town. And I still feel like I have so much to accomplish and so much to learn still. So
very, very cool. Teddy Robb with us, a national recording artist out of Nashville, and does country. Let me ask you this. I've been down there many times, and then Broadway's insane. By the way, I would venture to say that while everybody says Hattie B's is the best hot chicken, it's not. Prince's is the best. Are you with me on that, by the way?
Yeah.
Thank you. So anyway, you go down that street, and it's like every spot, there's 3 levels, 3 floors, and there's artists in every bar. So how do you go ahead of that? How do you separate yourself from the others? Because there's just so much competition, right?
There's a ton of competition, and there's so much talent. Like, it still blows me away how many talented people there are in this town. So I think, that's where some of that athlete mentality comes in, and you're just like, you stop comparing yourself to others and start running your own race. And like, I'm never going to be the most talented guy in this town. And like, I haven't been, doing this since I was 5 years old. And that's all I ever was made to do, was sing. But I do know that there's some other things that maybe I could be one of the hardest workers at it, and do it with a lot of joy and passion. I saw what it was like going in sports when like I lost the passion for playing. My productivity and how I was as an athlete just dropped off the planet, no matter how gifted I was at sports. So, music's similar in that, where there's so much talent and there's so much competition. I've at least had to learn to just run my own race and be like, all right, these are goals that I have, and I'm just going to go try to accomplish them, and just staying at it. There's so many hours in a day, and just have learned to just try to treat everybody the best I can, and do the best I can, and let those other pieces take care of themselves. Have a little bit of trust in God, and just do the best I can.
We're going to talk a little bit more about Teddy's music and what's going on with him now as he moves from a major record label to independent. We'll do that coming up next. We want to remind you that we have 3 shows right here on the Empowering Futures Podcast Network, Inside Financial Architects. As you see behind me on the video side, the Succession Success, a Q5 Experience podcast, where we talk about business succession planning. And we are right here on Living the Life Method right now. And of course, for more information on the Life Method, which is a process that allows you to navigate successfully through life by providing some clarity and personal vision, value, and purpose with our life coaches, you can go to lifemethodcoach.com.
As a business owner, have you ever thought about what it would look like to leave on your terms? In a business, there are too many moving parts to fully understand and implement a practical succession plan while at the same time living inside your own business. Your energy today is focused on running a great company. In the end, don't you want the highest value? Get to the next phase in life on your terms and leave an impactful legacy? We help with that. The Q5 Experience. We help take the I don't know out of what's next.
National recording artist Teddy Robb is our guest today here on Living the Life Method on the podcast. Matt Dery with you. Teddy currently down in Nashville. Nash Vegas is what they also call it, right, Teddy? It can get a little crazy down there, right?
Oh yeah, it can get the best of anyone.
That's why you're in your new house. You were telling me before we hit record here that you built a new place, and how long have you been in there? It looks beautiful.
I've been in here for about 3 weeks.
3 weeks. That's it.
Just moved in.
Nice. How far are you from downtown?
20 minutes.
Okay. Very nice. And what do you think of the lifestyle and being down in the South as opposed to growing up in the Midwest?
It's I like it. I mean, I miss home too. I miss Akron. Like it's not something I don't know if you hear people say that, but I grew up. I had a great family, great friends. Loved where I come from. I'm really grateful for Akron and everything that it taught me. I feel like that town prepared me to go down here, which Nashville is, you kind of can find a little bit of everything down here. I've met great people. I've got some, guys that will definitely be lifelong friends, but it also there's downsides to it. It can be cutthroat and, all the things that come with entertainment as well. You can get lost in the party. I mean, you've been to Broadway. That place will eat you alive.
Yes. Our mutual friend, Pat Marody's son Cooper had his wedding down there, and oh yeah, for sure. You got to get some rest when you're done with Broadway. That is for sure. How hard is it being the struggle as a musician because of the competition, and especially being a country artist down there? That's almost got to be nearly impossible. How do you kind of weigh the pros and cons and keep yourself level when you're down there?
Good friends and family for sure. I've had friends and family pull me out of some dark holes. And then, for a lot of years, like it almost seems like the older I get, the more I lean on my friends and family. But like, there was a period, man, for like a decade down here, almost like I lived for it. The hard times was like, I don't know. I think sports puts that dog in you.
Yeah.
And so every time that it'd be like Friday night and I had no family, very few friends, like years of nothing happening, and just being like, just live for it, like enjoy the process, fight through it, know that you're going to get knocked down, and in those moments where you are really low, realize that that is not going to last forever. And in any of those times, man, for a decade I've had a guitar in my hand, like every freaking night. In the low times, it was always like my mindset was just like, oh, no one's calling, no one's emailing, no one wants to write with you, no one wants to do anything. Go get better. Don't sit and cry about it. Don't don't feel sorry for yourself. I moved down here to chase after a dream, and no one said it was going to be easy. So anytime it's been hard, I've leaned on my friends and family, but then there's just a party that's just got to have that fight and that dog. And it's like, all right, well, why isn't it going the way you want? And how can we fix it?
You signed a pretty big deal, it sounds like, and now you are no longer with that record label. I don't know how much you want to dive into that or get specific, but what was that process like?
Man, it is a dream come true, signing a record deal. I did that and got that all going in 2017, 2018, and got to experience some highs that I never thought I would even get to. And then I was on a crazy run at, going, you think life was moving so fast, and had a couple songs on the radio, 2020 hits. Man, I had so much on the books and like a big year. And then, a worldwide pandemic hits that shuts down live music. And honestly, I'm just one industry. It just changed our whole world. So having to adjust from that, there's reasons why things don't work out. That's been a whole nother process this whole year of being like, okay, well, I'm not with a record company anymore. So I've got to believe even more in what I'm doing. Like, it takes even more, because it's like I had a shot, kind of shot that is rare to get in life. And I feel like I still have a lot left to accomplish. And so that's been one of those lows again. Getting dropped from a record label will shake anybody up, and it definitely shook me up. So I had some time, and I had accomplished a few things. And so one thing I did that really helped me get through that was I took my mind off of it and poured everything I had into building a house. I don't know if I can prescribe that to everybody.
Yeah.
But I think what I could prescribe is find something that you can really dive into. And so I did that. And then I'm also relaunching my career as an independent artist. And with that comes a lot more responsibility, a lot more put on my shoulders. But I'm actually learning that I enjoy that just as much, maybe even more. It's just different. It takes doing more things like connecting with guys like Pat, and being like, yeah, sure, I'm open to new ideas. Any ways we can get the music shared, I'm up for it. Where before it was everybody was handling all pieces of my life, and I just showed up and played music. I think that kind of I prefer this better. I prefer being like more the captain of my own ship right now, for the time being.
Did you have to, is there a mentor, some artist that we may have heard of that you call, or that maybe you're friends with, to say, hey, listen, am I doing this right? Who do you lean on?
I've got a few people on my team still. You got to look at a record label is a lot like, this might be a little inside, but we can talk about it. I see a record label as a lot of like a bank with a lot of connections. And I'm operating independently, very similar to that. So like, I still have a publicist that I work with. I still have a booking agent and a businessman. There's still all these pieces that you can still run it and operate it. I just lost my, the record label piece of it. But now I'm in charge of keeping all those relationships going. So I have a publicist that I can get great really, really great advice from. She's awesome. She's been in this town for a while, and she just knows what to say and knows a lot more than I do. So that's one person. And I just have a couple friends who are mentors. I have a business manager who I can go to. I just have some friends and people in the industry that I'm learning this thing and I'm learning how to do it. And I learned a lot from my past relationship with my record label. They taught me so much. I'm very grateful for the time that I spent with them.
I love it. Teddy Robb is our guest. That's ROBB. Go to teddyrobb.com to learn more. Obviously, hear some of the music as well. Is there a song that you've done that you're the most proud of? And obviously, you have some music coming out, a new single coming out in April next month. But give us a little background on some of the music and some of the songs and what they mean to you.
So I've got 2 full EPs out, and then I'm working on my 3rd right now. So I've got 12 songs, maybe 13 songs out now.
Nice.
The last 2 I put out, I'm proud of everything I've put out. I've never released a song that I'm like, I don't like this. But
that's rare. That's rare.
I have a song called Pretty Things that I just recently put out, and it is very much that song. I recorded that before this place was built, and the song is about kind of going from humble beginnings to telling your person that one day I'll give you pretty things. And I worked on that song while I was building this house. So it just meant a lot to me to go, like, I'm living this house. I'm going from an 800 square foot condo to building a home and going, kind of living that life. So that song means a lot to me. And it's just kind of a promise of, we're going to make it to my significant other. And then I have one coming out here soon that I'm really excited about. It's called Question the Universe. And it's a true story. And I love story songs. Like, I love stuff that can kind of wrap you up and tell you a story like it's a book. And so this one's kind of like that.
You've performed not just in Nashville, but around the country. When you walk away and you're talking to some fans or something, who do they compare you to? Who do they say, oh, Teddy, you sound just like blank? Because obviously there's so many artists and there's a lot of famous ones, but who have you been compared to?
I think that the best compliment I get is that people say that they hear I have my own sound. And I've never really tried to sound like one guy. I've just I have a lot of heroes. So some of my heroes would be George Strait, would be Brooks and Dunn, Dierks Bentley, Billy Currington. These are some guys that I listen to, and I'm just like, man, I love the way they sing. Alan Jackson. So I think I've just become a melting pot of all my inspirations.
Nice. So nobody says like, oh, you sound like Blake Shelton or anybody like that?
No, not Blake. Sorry.
You're okay. Yeah.
There we go. Sorry, I had a phone call.
Get the comparison.
I don't think I have someone that I really sound like.
How about that?
Yeah.
That's probably a good thing.
I would have a hard time even saying it. I want to say, I want so badly to have my own sound, and it means so much to me to create something that, hasn't been done, that I can't even think of someone. I hope that, more people hear it and realize that I have my own thing.
Well, we can tease this. Our audience is obviously here in Southeast Michigan. They're going to be hearing more from you. That's all we're going to say, right? But we got something cooking with Teddy coming up very, very soon, which is going to be very, very cool. You just rescued 2 dogs. You said you were a dog guy. You got some space now, as we see behind you. When did that happen? What? All of a sudden, you're a dog owner again.
Man, so I had dogs from the time I was a child. Like, I don't remember not having a dog. So from the time I was a baby to, my first 2 dogs were, I don't have to go through all their names, but Rosie and Pee Wee. We had Sassy. We had Jack, Jill. I always had dogs. And then I moved to Nashville. And those dogs were typically border collies or Shelties. And for the last 10 years, I haven't had a dog. And it's largely because I lived in a condo for that whole time and didn't have space. So it just didn't feel right to get one if I didn't have the space. And for my lifestyle, I was on the road a ton. And recently my cousin hits me up and it's like, there's a family that's giving away. They're looking for homes for Australian Shepherds. And I was like, Australian, are they puppies? It's like, yep. So I was like, I'm on it. I drove up to Ohio this past weekend to get 2 puppies. Yep. And came and got them. So I've been spending my last like 3 days and since Sunday. So Monday 4 with the pups. And I will say this, that there has been a void in my life for the last decade. And I realize what it is now. Like, I'm just so happy to have a couple dogs now.
I love it. I love it. Well, Teddy, appreciate the time. All the best. Obviously, you have been heard here in Detroit before on Rob and Holly on Young Country, which is the top country station here in the Motor City. Like I said, we kind of teased. We got something brewing with you, so our audience will be able to hear from you very, very soon again. And obviously, if people have want an ear for this, want to check you out, they can just go to your website at teddyrobb.com. But I appreciate the time, brother. Thanks so much for doing this.
Dude, thank you for having me. It was a real honor to be able to talk to you, and I look forward to seeing you in Michigan soon. I can't wait to play some tunes for you, man. It's gonna be awesome.
I will be there. I will be there.
You'll have to let me know if I sound like anyone.
That's my thing now. So that's going to be my thing, because my wife's a bigger country fan than me. She's gotten me into it. We've been in Nashville. We've we've seen a few shows live. So I'm definitely going to have I'm going to have to throw that your way, because maybe I'll be the first to say, oh, wait, you do sound like such and such. Although all the people that you named are like classic artists. You didn't give me a lot of some of the newer artists that are out now. So that shows the history that you have for the music, right?
Yeah.
Amen to that. There he is, folks. Teddy Robb with us. Check out his website at teddyrobb.com. And has a new single coming out in April. We appreciate him joining us right here on Living the Life Method, right here on the Empowering Futures Podcast Network.